And welcome to episode 2 of Unk Radio. What the fuck is up, everybody? It's your boy Pat the Flip, aka Patrick Miller, aka the Hat Trick Killer, aka Smoke Hage of the Village of the Burning Leaf. Joining me for Unk Radio episode 2 is none other than my co-host.
It's me, it's Mecha MacGyver, aka Flex, aka Big Danger, aka Thor's Molecules.
Thor's Molecules?
Have you never seen that name before?
You're going to have to explain that one to me,
that one's
please.
stolen. It's stolen
Okay.
valor. That
Okay,
one,
okay.
yeah. That's also up there with cocaine biceps.
I love me some cocaine biceps, but please,
Yeah.
where did Thor's Molecules come from?
I think it was from like a rap review site where the
Okay.
dude would just add a name to like every time he did a new review, and I was like, you know what? I agree with these guys' views. I do think that latest Sean Price album bangs. I'm gonna refer to this guy as Thor's Molecules.
Perfect.
Obviously, it's spelled molecules, but that's not how
Yeah,
you would pronounce it.
that's
right?
not how you
Yeah.
pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
It's like every time I hear someone see Bofades and read Bofades, I'm like, no, man, that's not how it works. Perhaps that is an inoculation in that particular kind of mind virus. Anyway, Unk Radio. Us two get on the mic, talk some bullshit. Don't call it a podcast. Each episode is 6 questions we have to answer about 40 minutes, give or take. We see that speed run timer. That's what we use to keep track. Last time we took about an hour and a half, which, you know, for a debut episode isn't bad. That's 6 questions for the 40 minutes, and then Danger Time segment where we ruthlessly farm content, and then we end on some shout-outs. If you want to ask the Unks a question, you can. Just put that question in the field of a PayPal funds transmission to pattheflip@gmail.com, or if you're one of my Patreon subs, you can just DM me. If your question is good, or if the number's big, we'll answer it. All right, with that, are you ready, sir, to move on to question 1?
Actually,
Yeah.
before we get started, I was
please.
irresponsible. The dude's name was Big Ghost.
Big
don't know,
Ghost.
I don't know if those reviews are easily found, but it's honestly some of the best reviews for like music ever.
Hell yeah. All
Where
right,
you just
shout
have
outs to
somebody
Big
going,
Ghost.
yeah, somebody just going like, you know what? This shit bangs. Next track bangs. Next track bangs. What do I give it? An 8. It banged too hard. I kind of wanted some garbage in there.
You know, there's an art to product reviews when you don't know how to review the product. Maybe we'll do that one of these days. Lord knows I've done plenty of that. Anyway, moving on to question 1. What is your best fighting game random encounter story? Think like Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, and it's always Champion Edition for some reason, Cabs at a Bar, right? Which, by the way, take a second to appreciate this particularly cursed button layout we've got here.
I don't want to look at it. This is like sideways Seth Killian. We rotated him 90 degrees.
It reminds me, like, I feel like someone like saw an SNK like square button layout and was like, huh, okay, so if we have 6 buttons, I guess it works like this, right? Or something. Man, this is hurting my head to look at.
The more I stare at it, the more questions I have, because honestly, I had the same idea you did, where it's like, oh, it's an SNK layout, and those top row of buttons, I was like, was that supposed to be the start for each player? Because why is player 1 and 2 start in the middle at the bottom?
Yeah.
You never see that.
Yeah. And you know, it even has like the buttons labeled and everything. So someone clearly put a lot of attention into this one. Anyway, yeah, what's the best fighting game random encounter story we've got?
So it's not quite random in the way
Sure.
you would think normally, but in high school, I did fairly well. So we're going to get you on some like college prep shit.
Okay.
So we took a trip to UCLA where we're like, yeah, we're going to spend like 1 or 2 days and you kind of see what like college life is like. You'll like
For
go
sure.
to like some mock classes and just fuck her around like you're a 20-year-old, right? Which meant we go to the fucking Westwood Theater and then just dick around the campus, and we find the arcade there, and you're like, oh, fighting is at an arcade, not a big surprise. But it was the quality and quantity that they had there. So I'm supposed to be doing all this college shit, and I'm like, bro, they got Marvel and Garo. Like, fuck this college shit, dude. Like, I think I spent the next 2 days just, like, learning how to play Gato and Freeman. I was like, you know, if this is what college life is like, then sign me the fuck up. The rest of this, I could do without it.
Shoutouts to Xscape. I think that was the name of the UCLA campus arcade, right?
Yes.
It was, man, when I was, as someone who was on the college prep track and went to a school literally named the College Preparatory School, fighting games and it got me into going to arcades and stuff. And so when I was looking at where to apply and where I wanted to go, I definitely researched the local arcade scenes to make sure I was going to a place that had games. UCLA was high up on my list because of that arcade.
Oh.
I ended up going to Pitzer over in Claremont, and I was like, oh, James Games. I looked the shit up. I'm like, James Games? Like, that's bikeable. I actually did bike to James Games a couple times to play some games there. And, it's I have a fond place in my heart for it because it kept me sane. Sometimes your class going a little crazy or there's like social drama or whatever. I just get my ass out to an arcade. But I ended up going to AI a lot more instead. And that turned out to be real good for me.
One little bit of point I forgot to mention is, so obviously they had a bunch of games, right? Like the two that I mentioned were the ones I was fucking with the most, but they had a bunch of other titles. And it didn't strike me at the time because I was relatively young, but all the machines were on event mode.
Oh.
Right? And it wasn't until like decades later that I was like, wait, was this because I showed up right after they had like
a tournament or something?
Yeah, or one of the Evos or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh man, that would
like one of the prototype big events was there. I was like, did I just happen to show up like a week after?
Yeah, I think for me, let's see. There's a lot of times that you run into Street Fighter in your life. I'll say there was So I used to work at a boxing gym. It was a youth boxing gym. It was funded as an after-school program for like East Oakland at-risk youth to come by and basically do something that wasn't get into like gang trouble and shit nearby. And we did plenty of boxing. There's also like a cool garden there, so you could like work in the garden, help grow like food, and then eventually you could learn how to cook with it at the kitchen on site. But I forget, they had some kind of like party or festival or something, and they had a Street Fighter 4. This is back on Xbox 360. They had a Street Fighter 4 setup, and so I was like, oh yeah, I'm good at fighting games. I've entered multiple tournaments for multiple years at this point. I'd played plenty of Street Fighter 4, and I sit down to play, and I almost get my ass blasted. And it's not because the kid is good. It's just because the setup is super laggy and I'm playing on gamepad, whatever. But I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. I cannot give him that satisfaction. So I had to whoop him, but it was way closer than it was supposed to be. That's probably, in terms of actual random encounter, I'd say encountering Street Fighter at a gym for fighting is pretty good because it's actually pretty rare that you find fighting games in a place where there's also actual fighting, unless the fighting is around the fighting game.
Yeah.
That said, it wasn't a game encounter specifically, but I used to train jiu-jitsu in Japan, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. There was a black belt at the gym named, they called him Amazon, because he was, I guess, fierce like the Amazon River or something like that. And I mentioned that I was into fighting games to him once, and he was like, oh, Terry Bolgado. And he kind of flipped the cap that Terry does. And I was like, oh my God, this is godlike. This is absolutely godlike. So we can take our pick for either of those.
You know that person is deep into the weeds when Terry is like the go-to. They're not doing the like a Duke or the get over here. It's like, no, it's Terry.
That's kind of the beautiful thing about like fighting games in Japan though, right? Like for me, actually, it was crazy that I think of Terry as like, oh, he's like the cool American guy, but he's kind of weird. And he's in Fatal Fury, which is already like, relatively niche compared to Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. But over there, Terry's like, he's the cool American guy. That's how he made it into Smash, Well, that and Sakurai loves him. But yeah, shout outs to Terry, shout outs to Amazon, and shout outs to, I forget who it was, but that kid at the boxing gym who almost beat me. That was almost extremely disgraceful. Anyway, moving right along, we will move on to question number 2. Why is it easier for the FGC to get a homie out of ICE detention than it is to get them to not buy a game? And this one is bad. I've been thinking about this for a minute. So the former story, if you're not aware, is Ludovic Mbach is a longtime Street Fighter player. I believe he's known for his Chun-Li in Street Fighter 4. I don't know if he played it from there on out. But he was detained by ICE and in detention and being shuffled around for quite a long time. You can learn more about the story. I think Aftermath had really good coverage. I interviewed Eriki, who's the homie who was organizing a lot of the efforts to get him out of ICE detention. Did eventually get out of ICE detention, though I believe he's still, under review for his, that's the work pass, and then I think it's either citizenship or green card application. On the other hand, we have a lot of folks who acknowledge that Mike Z is not really the kind of guy we want making fighting games due to his prior history with the Skullgirls dev team, history of sexual harassment, etc. Yet that does not stop them from buying the game. And I was thinking about this for a while, and I realized, and I think there's been, like, to me, it feels like a shift in how fighting game players relate to the games. When I, was a kid playing video games in the arcade or whatever is that each transaction was like 25, 50 cents, $1 if you were really getting reamed out on one of the new cabs or whatever. But you learn to play a lot of games. They become really cool things, really cool ways to meet people. And then when new games come out, it's kind of, I find it very easy to not play a fighting game. And I was thinking about this, like my history with the genre is like, okay, I'm playing CVS2 and then I kind of gradually learn to play other games as they come out. But once I get comfortable with the base set, which was for me like Third Strike, CVS2, Marvel 2, Guilty Gear XX, and I'd dabble in some KOF or some Tekken, but I wasn't really about those games so much. And then Capcom Fighting, Capcom Fighting Jam, Capcom Fighting Evolution comes out, and I'm like, all right, this sucks, I'm not going to play it. Street Fighter 4 came out, and I didn't really like Street Fighter 4 that much in total, but in the beginning, I was at one of the location tests, and I was like, I don't like the way this plays, the control feels kind of sloppy, something about the jump arcs felt really weird, like, I had to get acclimated to it. Marvel 3 and Exerd might have been the two games where when they came out, I was like super excited to play, But in general, I think my history with fighting games is a lot more playing a game and deciding it's not for me, or like just finding any, it's very easy for me to find a reason to not play a game. And, certain members of the dev team are pretty convincing, that reason is enough, I didn't buy City of the Wolves for the same reason. I'm like, I probably will love this game. SNK being owned by MBS, that's curtains for me. But I feel like the act of buying a video game for the newer generations is like, actually, it's like how you prove you're here, you belong here. I don't really know. But it feels like it is more compulsory. I don't know if it's the FOMO, if it's like the feeling of oh, I'm waiting for this game because it's going to deliver something that I want. I haven't really felt hype, like legitimately hype for a video game, or organically hype, I should say, for a video game in quite some time, right? So I'm wondering if it's a generational thing here that I'm missing out on.
I kind of think it's harder to get people to not buy into something, and I'm glad you touched on like the FOMO part a bit, because I think that ties into it a lot. And the best example I can give is how SF5, just a dog shit product, right?
Yeah,
and like I went out of my way to point out things when that game was on. That's back when I was an idiot and would argue people online.
Sure.
And I would go out there and be like, look, your button config is ass. There's no arcade mode. There's variable for like the input delay is dog shit. It's a variable input delay. It was later discovered, so it was even more dog shit than I was citing it. There was the thumbs up debacle, which most people don't even remember. Like, where you both had to agree to rematch,
to
right?
move on to the next match. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I was like, why is everyone caping for this when other products have been released and they're taking to town for like, oh, it's missing a button, doesn't have button config on character select, dog shit game, to the guy, like to the gulag with you, right? And it was amazing that we can rally like we did to get Ludovic, right? And help him out. And it's a lot harder to get someone to be like, hey, don't touch that thing. Or think about it twice for a second, right?
Yeah.
Like, or, maybe if you really want to buy SF5 because it's a new big shiny SF, because from my opinion, I was like, if these mechanics and this release had any other IP or no IP to it, like it was something brand new, like it was a brand new BlazBlue, right? Like this was now called Fighting Combat, would you give a shit? No, you would have taken it to town.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier to convince people to do something than to not to do something because of the FOMO. Like everyone just wanted to be part of like, oh, this is going to be my moment, right? There's tours, there's money, and it's frustrating to me to keep looking at this fucking Speed Kicks tweet.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think he's a smart dude, but sometimes he needs to be reminded he's a dumbass, which I've done. There was a moment at Combo Breaker where I went up to him and I'm like, hey, I think you're really cool and like you have a great fucking like mindset for fucking competitive Tekken. Can I write your tweets?
Which, by the way, that is a service you do offer. So if you're interested in having Mr. Alex Sanchez ghostwrite your tweets for you, DM him to talk rates and stuff. It's a very important service that a lot of people should be taking advantage of these days.
Quick note about that.
Yeah.
I'm not just a singular entity, right? I am a success because of the people that back me and the people that support me. We are part of a team. This team has brought you suck my nuts assholes.
Yes, a classic.
That's the level of quality we offer, just letting you know.
I do think, so the Speed Kicks tweet is, I think, revealing insofar as there are plenty of people who don't really fuck with Twitter anymore because of Elon Musk, right? I went from engaging on that platform a lot to basically just using it as a place to post links, and that platform heavily disincentivizes link posting, right? So I'm like, I'll post stuff there. I do not engage there. But if you are consistently engaging with stuff that is compromised in your life for whatever reason, right? If you feel like you're always being forced to use a service or buy a product or whatever, where the ownership or the production is not aligned with the things you value in your life, then not buying Avatar is just one more thing onto the pile. And for fighting game players, I think it's really easy for fighting game players to say, hey, yo, fuck Trump, fuck ICE, because that's a pretty, I won't say universally, but an extremely widely shared sentiment, especially now. But that has nothing to do with fighting games. So it's, here's this fighting game guy, seeing his life get interrupted and, you know, at risk of really getting destroyed from a non-fighting game thing. We go, yeah, we like the fighting game guy, right? But asking yourself to look at how you spend money and how you engage with stuff and whether that reinforces the things you care about in your life or not, right? Whether buying the thing that you think will make you happy is worth the little bit of your soul or your integrity that you trade away by supporting something that doesn't make you happy, that's like a much harder and more personal conversation. And if you think about it, everyone who plays fighting games, well, one of the things they have in common is that they buy fighting games. And so if you have to start introducing things like ethics and values into that transaction, then everyone's got to go through this kind of this awkward process of thinking about like, hey, is this worth it, right? How much do I value living a life aligned with the things that I care about? But yeah, man,
you're asking people to think. I think that's where your problem is.
True, you know, my bad. That is the wisdom on today's Unk Radio.
Yeah, because we can agree, like, you know, ICE, Trump, you know, get the shit out of here. Mm-hmm. But you'd be asking me to think whether or not I feel like the involvement of people working on Avatar should dictate how I spend or don't spend money on it. That's thinking. We can't have that. No.
Can't. Nope. No. Absolutely not. All right. That is excellent, concise answer to the question. Let's move on to the next one. Question 3. Who are the John Choi and Alex Valle of throwing hands in an arcade, and how does that fight go in their prime?
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right, so let's define some terms. John Choi, Alex Valle, the NorCal and SoCal gods of Street Fighter for the early years, we'll call it. John Choi, a master of the Hadoken, of the refined footsies, you know, of calm, patient, measured reactions. Alex Valle, rush that shit down, nonstop aggression, you know, really the Ryu and Ken of Street Fighter players, okay? So I think the things that would define a John Choi or an Alex Valle of throwing hands at an arcade are 1, NorCal and SoCal, and 2, some kind of stylistic difference. Out of curiosity, how many times have you either seen or heard of throwing hands at an arcade or gameplay environment in SoCal?
It's a handful. It's not that many.
How many of them involved Watts?
That was going to be my perfect example. Like, I don't know how you read my mind, but that was exactly it. And he's the aggressor. Like, yeah. he will get shit done. And to his credit, the story as it was told to me was our local guy, Slime Lord, a Necro at Arcade Infinity.
Okay.
Was talking some mess, and he was going on public forums, you know, which was the style at the time. And I think, just in passing, happened to call Watts fat.
Okay.
And that was like, oh, you know, we all had a chuckle, and we went about our day. He caught wind of it, and he drives down to James Games with his, like, entourage of goons. You know, like goons in the classic sense.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
just for the sake of clarity. There's young people that could be watching. So he has this fucking, his comrade of goons here. They're swole dudes. You have Jaha, who's also kind of an example that gave up. Yeah. You have Jaha, you know, fucking Devil Eggs, Hollywood, Don Sneddon, who we once joked ripped the fucking ATM out of a wall, and then we found out that was his job. But he rolls up to Slime Lord and just stops him mid-match and goes, hey, did you call me fat? And he tries to say no, to which he just slams his head into the screen and asks him again, did you call me fat? And he goes, yes. And he's like, say you're sorry. I'm sorry. That's it. Don't lie next time. And they leave.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I think that was beautifully handled.
as far as arcade violence goes, yeah. It's also, now I'm beginning to wonder if perhaps some of the issues that I saw at James Games Those calves weren't in great shape. I mean,
but, hey, why are they all oddly dented?
Did Watts get the free drink out of that? That's the real question.
No, you had to slam him 8 times in a row.
I'm thinking, you know, Watts is probably the primary candidate for throwing hands in an arcade. I don't, you know, for all that I've heard of Jaha's muscle mass, I haven't actually heard of him getting into fights. I feel like he rolled up and you saw that was not a good idea.
He was swollen enough that you didn't need to do it, right? Like he was the kind of enforcer you had. Like I said, this was Watts' comrade. He's a big fucking swole dude. He's just ever growing more jacked.
Yeah.
There was one Evo. I want to say it was 2010. Oh no, it would have been 2009 because I had to sneak in there. That was the year I got top 8. We had to play Jaha's team. And we owned him up. At which point, I comically in the room called him Freeha, right? You know, as he was free. His name's Jaha. You just fuse that shit together. Instant diss. He caught wind of that, which surprises me because I said it pretty fucking loud next to him. And he comes up later on, and we had just finished watching Ryan Hart and Jason Cole have like a b-boy off, and we're all chuckling and having a good time. And he comes up and just taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "Hey, did you call me Freeha?" And I was like, "Yes, I did." And he just grabs my legs and puts me in a figure 4. And we're down there, and I happen to watch enough wrestling that I kind of knew how to like lock my legs into place to, you know, keep the hold from actually doing damage, right?
Sure, yeah.
So we're like kind of writhing on the ground for a couple minutes, and I was like, "Hey, Jaha, just letting you know this kind of looks fruity as hell." Not that I had any problem with it, but I knew it might disturb him, right? I wanted to bring it to his attention. So he goes, "Yeah, you're right," and he lets me go. And I get up, and he's like, "Hey, you dropped your shit." And sure enough, my wallet and like phone are on the ground. Yeah. And I foolishly turn around and like ever so lightly inch forward to reach for them, to which he pulls my legs from under me from behind, and I am now in a figure 4 upside down. And I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to get out of this one." And I'm just down there, and he's like, "You gonna say you're sorry?" And I was like, "Maybe." I was like, "You gonna break my leg?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "And then I'm very sorry, John."
Well played. Okay, yeah. So we know Jaha can scrap, but yeah, I do think Watts is taking the nom for Alex Valle of throwing hands in an arcade. I can't say I've seen many acts of serious violence, of you know, intent to harm in a fighting game NorCal context. I've only heard of some of them, and it was like fights about buying weed in a parking lot at Castro Valley Golfland or something.
Hell yeah.
So I will say there was this dude named Bill who used to pull up for CVS2 and was like, I want to say he was East Bay, because I mostly saw him around like Barricade or Golfland. Dude was probably like a good 300 pounds, like my height, but, you know, big, not necessarily, you know, muscular, but also fat. Long ponytail. Think kind of like an overweight Terry Bogard with facial hair and a Raiders cap and jacket.
Hell yeah, Raider Nation.
And I never saw him hit anybody. I did see him hit the cabinet many times. Once, you know the cabinets that are like the bigger CRTs, and they have the stand, and then the control unit is like
the showcase cabs.
Yeah, the showcase cabs.
Yeah.
He picked up one of those.
Jesus
once.
Christ.
Yeah, he picked it up just like a couple inches off the ground, but he lost in CVS2 in tournament. Picked it up. Didn't drop it, but didn't put it down gently either, and then was asked to leave. And I believe that set off an issue with the cab that meant that we wouldn't be able to finish the rest of the tournament because we didn't have the keys or something. I think I got to give it to Bill on this one. I don't know that fight goes... I don't know how Bill can fight. I think Watson... Strong got mass. I would give it to Bill for the physical size alone, but Watts is clearly comfortable with actual violence against another human being. Bill is kind of personally untested as far as I know, but you know, with the Raider gear, it kind of leads itself towards at least some interpretation of willing to partake in combat with another human being.
I think with the Raiders gear, you're kind of leaning to thinking this guy's built to take damage. Mm-hmm. Right, he might be more, like, to your point here with the John Choi aspect, he might be the more defensive of the two.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Watts, okay. So Watts is, I mean, I won't go too into potentially damning information, but I have heard that Watts is also a fan of more than just unarmed combat. Do we... But you know, maybe in the interest of clarity, we keep this to unarmed only.
This is hand to hand and maybe dudes as assists.
Oh yeah. I think Jaha as a striker is real.
Oh yeah, right? That's easy. Yeah, just snap your fingers and this dude's just like throwing somebody into a pool.
Yeah. So Jaha as the striker is real, and I think Bill might have like he did kind of roll up with other Oakland dudes, but. I don't remember who exactly. So I think it's like a Ginyu Force situation where just like, you know, he's got like an assist summon attack that brings out a character from a rotation.
I could see that playing out. It's like, it's a different dude each day. Like, depending when you roll up, you get a different Ginyu Force.
Yeah, but I've got to say, I mean, like if there was ever a place where the reputation for fighting or for kind of jackassery happened, it would be Oak Tree Arcade. But I didn't go to Oak Tree at all, so I can't speak to that personally. My thinking is, at least for the stories of SoCal, that the promise or the possibility of violence was maybe a little bit more up there than it would have been with NorCal, but I can't say for sure.
There were definitely a couple other stories and rumblings that I heard about, but those were arcades that I never frequented very often. They're the ones like...
Yeah, what was the fightingest arcade that you knew about?
There were the ones in LA proper.
Okay.
So near Koreatown, there's one that's still there. I think it's called Family Arcade, not to be confused with Family Fun Arcade.
Yeah. Family Arcade, that got like a bunch of fluorescent lights, right? Like rows of caps. Okay. That was the place where I played Marvel 2 once in like 2014. And a dude rolled up, beat my ass, and was like, "Yo, I heard they came out with like a third one of these. Right? Is it any good?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's pretty good."
That's fucking great. Family Arcade looks like arcades are depicted in movies in the 80s. And it still looks like to this day. And it's also the home of like J.R. Rodriguez. So he would tell the stories of like the jackassery that would happen because it's near like the dense part of LA. So you would get all kinds of walks of life going in there, which sometimes meant, it's late in the evening and there are crackheads, like actual crackheads.
Yep.
Not the Marvel kind, but actual crackheads showing up.
There was, do you remember that spot that was in downtown LA? I forget what it was called, but it was like...
Oh, I can like picture it in my brain.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I felt like I was walking to like an old timey carny booth or something at first when you kind of walk in there. Like it's kind of grimy. Anyway, I think roughly speaking, I think we can probably answer the question. Not enough information here, but I think Watts probably. I would bet on Watts before I bet on Bill with the information that we've got. All right. Why are fighting game developers scared of fighting games? And we have this delightful depiction here. # did you block it, twin? Thank you, White Beast.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I gotta play this one again. I'm sure Tokon is going to do really well, but this clip is like it needs to be preserved in a time capsule. It's like this is what we were looking at during the open beta. But yeah, why are fighting game developers scared of fighting games?
No, there's an easy answer to this.
Let's go.
Because fighting game players are also scared of fighting games.
Ooh!
And I'll give you a perfect example.
Please do.
So, I've mentioned before, I watch a lot of dog shit movies, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of that I've learned to appreciate, these are the movies that I like, or these are the types of dog shit that I really like. Mm-hmm. If you're out there and you want to watch a dog shit movie that you end up, at the end of it, going, wait, that kind of did not suck. If that person had money, this could have worked. Go watch Despiser, right?
Despiser.
Yeah. If you wanted to play a dog shit fighting game that's modern, and you're like, yo, I like the way this sucks, it's DNF Duel. And we all saw what happened there. It was so fucking scuffed that people didn't want to do it. It was a game where everyone's fucking broken, everyone has massive disjointed hitboxes. There's a character that killed you if you blocked her DP on Wake Up, right? You either got hit and died or got God broken and died. You had to let her get up. That's all kinds of scuff. That shit's great. Then they release a character that's so broken that everyone just goes, no, this is it. We went too far. So I think at that exact moment when Swiftmaster got released and they fixed him, there was a tonal shift. And fighting game devs suddenly went, wait, they're also afraid of this garbage. We need to start putting baby-proof guardrails and like all these safety valves on things, which it makes sense. And sometimes maybe they go a little too far in one direction and not far enough in like the scuffed direction. But honestly, the argument that I would make is, let's say this game evolves and suddenly she has like a proper Eno dash, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, she can hit you with heavies there, which means obviously they're slower and they take longer to animate out of the dash.
Yeah.
But she can't hit you with lights. Eno, on the other hand, just fucking gets in your ass.
She does do that.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, how many modern kids would be fine with fighting Eno? That's a big question. Fighting game devs have to make a product that people are gonna not be afraid of. So they also have to be afraid of the things that people are going to be afraid of.
I do think, so with DNF Duel, it's like, I remember, so I played it for a little bit. I played Kunoichi. She was fun. The thing that killed that game to me actually was not the bullshit, it was the movement. The movement felt so bad. there wasn't enough aerial gameplay, and if I remember correctly, there's like no air blocking. So really, like, you were expected to play almost the whole game on the ground. And the movement in any like high-powered game like that, to me, is what makes the rest of the stuff feel earned. If movement is hard and detailed and challenging, then I'm willing to forgive a lot more, we'll say, oppression when it comes to the combat, like the attacking and defending, because I'm like, oh well, you know, the movement was what made this acceptable, right? I got beaten here, and that's what makes me feel like, you know, whatever happens after that, I deserve it. The Eno dash is an interesting one for me because, like, I don't think, like, Strive Eno is definitely slower than Exerd or XX Eno, right? But for all the reputation that character has, she's not broken. She's intimidating, and she can be scary. But, like, Eno has not been winning all the Exerd tournaments, or even most, or even some of the Exerd tournaments, right? Like, I think Marlon Pi won an Evo side tournament a couple of years ago. We see Daru Duel every now and then. But even in Strive, Eno has a faster overhead than Danger does in Tokon. It doesn't. I mean, and you know, this particular example aside, I think you are right that both players and developers need to be scared of it in order to hit that product density or you know, the market density that they're aiming for to pay bills. And obviously, Tokon's gonna be a real expensive game that's got to sell a lot of copies.
Yeah.
But even it's interesting because when I look at the smaller scale, like the indie stuff come out, right? It's not like they're necessarily bending over backwards to go into the crack territory either.
I think we were talking about this the other day, because you mentioned it with the movement, and I think what really speaks to you is being able to go in those, like, top right part of the screen, right? Like, you want to hit 7, and there needs to be 3 to 5 extra seconds of 7 that you can hold and be up there, right?
Look, when I'm playing Zato into Venom, I don't want to go toe to toe with you. Have you seen the extended hurt boxes I have on literally everything?
Oh yeah, no, I love playing Answer into fucking Zato because I just do a scroll dash and it clips you for no reason. But I get it. But I've also seen you play other fighting games, and your default is 7. But I understand why that makes you enjoy games in certain ways, right? Because you're like, oh, what if my 7 could pivot into other options? Or what if I can do things that would make you worry about, hey, 7's really good, I have to stop him from going up there. Mm-hmm. And I think that sort of jockeying just doesn't get touched by almost any fighting game. The indie example, I'm glad you brought it up, because I'll dick around when I go to these events and they have like these indie booths and things like that, right? And a lot of my friends do play indie games and they tell me about them. They're all relatively grounded, right? There's obviously moments of where like, oh, somebody has like a super dash equivalent, or there's like some sort of air movement. But for the most part, there isn't anything that's exploring that sort of like Children of the Atom, 3 vertical screens, and your character is a grappler, but they have the most cracked X-axis control you have ever seen, right? Like, Storm in MVC2 is a product of Coda, but so is Colossus. And Colossus has some of the most cracked horizontal air movement, right? There isn't a lot of games that explore that, and you kind of wonder, is this because they think the kids are afraid, or do they just not even want to test these waters?
It's funny to me to think that actually I think the heir to the legacy of like aerial movement in fighting games is not 2D fighting games anymore. It's all the platform fighters that come out that are like, we're Smash, but with combos and air dashes, you know? Like, they ended up going much harder into aerial movement, I think, than a lot of like the kind of more traditional 2D or even air dasher 2D fighting games. But yeah, I think you're right, man. I bought this whole big ass screen. I want to use the whole screen. You know, I don't want to just stand here on the ground.
You know what we need to do? Honestly, if I would ever get off my ass, is we have the modern 16:9 fighting game, right?
Yeah.
I want to make one, but we're gonna fucking make you rotate your screen
9:16 Tate fighting games. Let's go. That's tight. I'm not scared of that. No, sir. All right.
This is the future. We need it.
Yep. All right. Moving on. Question 5. As a follow-up, what mix just right amount of fucked up? What's the Goldilocks mix? I assure you, it is not this. I'm sorry, this is very loud.
I love it.
Oh, the overhead there is fiendish.
The low knocking down is some nasty work.
All right, we'll call that one there. So yes, this is probably not the Goldilocks mix, but
This is killing me because this is what the Tokon devs think the danger dash could be. Because they probably see this and they're like, we know we can make this reactable. They have sickos on that team, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
like, yeah, these are Arxis devs. They've made some fucked up stuff, but in their head, they're like, the public would think this is what the danger Eno dash would look like, right?
Yeah.
This is a little too much for them.
My favorite part about this is that there's no throw, right? It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
strike.
no,
It's
yeah, this
strike
is
or
just strike. These are strike loops, like, which goes perfectly into my point.
Yeah.
The throw loops, the most base strike throw possible, is too much for some people.
It is.
So my perspective on what the perfect mix is now is completely fuckered. Because
Okay.
I'm kind of taking a break from playing like Grand Blue, KOF, Street Fighter right now, and I'm like, you know what? I want to actually sit down and become like the ethnic Peppery Splash, right? I'm gonna just sit down and learn Venom, and the more I play this game, I'm just like, this shit is fucked. I'm having to hold stuff. I don't have a DP. Meanwhile, I put one ball on the screen, and Soul has already said some type of Viper, right? Like there is a snake coming at me on defense, and I'm thinking, you know what? If I was good, I can stop this and bait it every time, or I can punish it accurately. This is the game that I want to play. The right level of mix is there, but the next layer is me dealing with somebody that has a gun and a snake and is just going to fire it at me every time I even threaten to do a kind of Oki on them, right?
Yeah.
So having the existence of a real defensive option kind of tilts things. But Soul's like the one character in that game that genuinely has a DP of that quality, right?
Yeah.
Like, Kai DP kind of sucks. The next closest thing is probably like Leo Flash Kick, and even then, one of them's kind of slow and the other one's pretty fast, but not as involved.
Yeah. Chip's DP is actually close in quality to Soul's. It's just the payoff isn't there because he doesn't get the knockdown afterwards.
Yeah, he doesn't get like the big setup, and his is also like inherently just riskier by virtue of being Chip,
Being
right?
Chip,
Where,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I missed one. Well, that might be the round.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just like, oh, some characters have ways out, but they're on supers. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Heihun Clap is probably like one of the best reversals in the game, but that's a 50-meter
That's
investment.
50, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, okay, there's safeguards in this game where it's like obviously IB, stuff where it's like, oh, is that not quite a real mix? I can do like FD jump to kind of like shrink my hurt box and stuff like that, and maybe like kind of chicken block something potentially. There's Blitz. I really love Blitz. You know, I'm a big fan of
Yep.
guard impact.
Yeah.
So I think there's the sort of like safeguards in Exerd that kind of create a sort of Goldilocks, not perfect, but really close. And it's
Yeah.
because it has all these moving pieces to it, right?
Yeah. I think your point with throw loops and people yelling about throw loops is really good, right? Because obviously people have been thrown into throw. You know, ST has really fucked up throw loops.
Yeah.
You know, like, but in Street Fighter 6, it's like you don't have it feels like such an actual coin flip. Right? That there's one of two decisions that you choose, and either you get thrown or you beat the throw. Whereas like in an Exerd, it might be like, oh, I got thrown because I beat, and then maybe I tried to blitz in the gap, and then they saw it coming, blah, blah. There's like a lot more things going on, even if the fundamental interaction ends up with you getting thrown twice.
So the addendum that I have for this, and I'm glad you pointed that part out, is that there's obviously more options now. Now that they've kind of refined the game a little bit.
Sure,
like drive reversal now gives you meter back if you successfully dodge a throw with it.
Okay, that's cool.
Backdashing, you could been able to backdash throw since the beginning of the game, right? It has also the biggest throw tech window in Street Fighter history. It just has the least amount of throw protection, right?
Yeah.
The biggest problem that I think people deal with in something like a Street Fighter 6 or some of these other modern fighters where strike throw is very, very prevalent in comparison to something where Exerd, where like strike throw is there, but that's the layer for I know you're blocking and FDing that I'm just going to run up and grip you, right? My goal is to get you to block and eat some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Exerd lets you fidget. And even if you're wrong, fidgeting is interaction.
Yeah.
The problem that people have with Street Fighter is that it says, you have probably 2 to 3 ways to be right. Be right.
Yeah.
But that's also one of those things where like, yeah, if you're wrong, it might really suck.
Yeah.
Or you might have really small sucks repeated, which, you know, maybe you're into that, maybe you're not. But as I give the example back of like going back to Exerd, like, hey, I fought a Soul player where I was like, okay, I know you're going to DP and you have meter, so I'm not going to do the one that loses to Blitz.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bait you and punish you. Okay, cool. Now you have Blitz meter again because I beat you up. Let me run the exact same setup. And there's the DP again.
Yeah.
And there's the DP again. And there's the DP again. you know what? We're having a conversation, but it's me going, damn, that's crazy. Right?
Yeah.
But he can keep talking. He's allowed to talk the entire time. If this was a different fighting game where strike throw is a lot more enforced and you can't fidget as much, it's going to be him going, volcanic viper, and I'm like, no. And the conversation ends there, and we go back to him going, well, volcanic viper, question mark? And I say no, and now maybe the conversation is just completely over. It's done, right?
Yeah.
I think the right level of mix for me would be very personal, because it's the level of decision making and the level of interaction. Like, I'm fine with just being forced to be right, because I've been forced to be right countless years. Like, I've mostly picked characters without reversal, so me picking Venom is just another day at the office, right?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with just being wrong. But for most people, I think the being right is, I want to be able to be wrong a lot, even if the right is only one particular option, or it's only one or two, right?
Yeah.
Like, your Zato mix was ass, but I still had to deal with you fucking threatening run up Damn Fang over and over again, right? It's like, oh, there's Damn Fang and fucking Nobidu. Well, this sucks.
Yeah. I was thinking about, I obviously, like, Exert is my go-to for Goldilocks mix, because it is where I find it, and yeah, like you mentioned, it is very personal. The first couple million games that I lost to Raid the Warrior Solstice, I was like, oh, this is fucking garbage. And actually, when I played Exert early on, when it first came out, it was like Ram and Elfelt, right? That kind of got me, like, just the endlessly looping Oki in the corner that I felt like I had I didn't understand how I was supposed to play against. That kind of pushed me out of the game for a little bit. And when I came back to it, then I was like, oh no, actually, I think I'm down for this now. Even after that, Elfelt is one thing, but dealing with Ram or Dizzy now, a completely different pain in the ass. But I think the thing that connects it for me is, like, with both Ram and Dizzy, at the high end of, like, just visually obfuscated mix in a really intense game, I know that there's like a million different things that both players need to do in order to get that shit exactly right. If I do a couple things, like I IB certain hits or backdash or YRC or whatever in specific places, I can also start to find the holes in that series of inputs that they're doing to create mix. And so it's like, they're allowed to have the fucked up shit. One, because they earned it in the game by getting me in the corner, and two, because they earned it by grinding. But it's not just like a deploy mix here, right? Like the meme of Secret Garden is that, oh man, it's just this supremely uninteractable fucked up Milia mix. It's actually so supremely uninteractable and fucked up that, like, most Milias don't have Secret Garden. Like, they didn't get to the stage in Milia where they consistently put in the effort to get that loopable Secret Garden Oki over and over and over. I think it is the potential to, for me, the thing that makes the Goldilocks mix isn't just the oppressiveness per se. It's what is my room to outplay it and deal with it, and how does that force the mixer to then interact with my stuff? And like you were saying, if it's just like pick 2 out of 3 options or something, or pick 1 out of 3 options or something, that doesn't feel that great. But if it's pick 30 out of 100, that starts to feel different for some reason. Even if the math reduces to the same equation, there were more decisions that we made to get there, and so whatever outcome happens feels like a little bit more earned, I think, in my opinion. But it is absolutely a moving target.
Oh yeah, no, because I don't know how much Virtual Fighter you've played, but
a little bit, yeah.
Trying to sit down with that game and, like, really getting into it and, like, trying to get it to, like, not a competitive level, but at least beat up people that play it online and all my friends that were picking it up at the time, right?
Yeah.
It made me realize anyone complaining about strike throw in, like, 6 or whatever other fighting game, you're a coward. I'm getting wrung out over here, and it's legit just like, it's like, there's the term for it. It's just a Nitaku, right? It's 2 choices. It's strike or throw. One of these is going to hurt more than the other. You fucking decide which one it is. You're either godlike at breaking throws on reaction and also guessing which one I did, because
that is the cool shit. That's the cool shit to me, okay?
I think, honestly, that's a space that I wish more fighting games would explore, because it's done so little for the 2D games, where you have to guess not only throw, but also which throw they did.
Yep.
Right?
With the input that they did for the throw.
With the input, right? Yeah, which is like, it's 1 of 3, or it's 1 of 4, right? Where it's like, it's either neutral, forward, down, or back. And I wonder why they just don't do that. Because honestly, think about it, if, like, in Street Fighter, they make one where, you can tech throws, but what if there was an option to where, like, oh, they take damage, or you reversal it if you guess the exact one that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So now if somebody's in a back throw and you want to avoid the back throw incident, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's a scrub. He's going to do wake up back throw. I'm going to guess that he does wake up back throw. Cool. I teched it, and now there's a reversal thing. It's like a space that I think is completely unexplored, and I think maybe this would allow people to feel a bit better about strike throw because there's now, like you said, a ton of actions that can happen. It's still effectively a two-choice system, but then there's like this sub-choice that people will be really happy about.
Yeah. You've invented the throw mix.
No, I'm writing these down. We're gonna make the 9x16 throw mix centric fighting.
This game is gonna be tight as fuck. I'm excited. All right, we answered the question. It's 9x16 throw mix.
Hell yeah.
All right, moving on. This is our last of the regular questions. Question 6. What is the retirement plan for fighting game players?
So we horrifying.
We got Daigo with the noodles, and for what it's worth, the Nissin Cup noodles, like when they remade the Ume Hare Ga was pretty sick. We also have Justin. I believe that he was shilling an AI chatbot. The screenshot is Chun-Li, I think. While talking about Green Goblin, if we talk about like real fighting for a second, it is pretty rare for professional athletes to have a graceful ride into the sunset. I think about Muhammad Ali and how there was a long time where he was just kind of making the rounds and putting up the dukes, and people were like, "Yeah, show you still got it, champ," or like Mike Tyson. Basically, everyone who's getting a payday to job to what's his fuck? Those YouTube boys. I don't even remember their fucking names.
One of the Pauls.
Yeah. Logan, maybe? Jake, one of the two. But, it's rare, right? You get so good at doing a thing, and then maybe if it's a competitive thing, your viability as a high-level competitor only goes on for so long, and so you try and find other things to do, kind of keep the money in. And Daigo has kind of managed to stay competitive, right? He's still playing, but that's also a brand thing. He's got a book, he's got sponsorships, he streams, kind of an elder statesman a little bit these days. He's running the events. He still has the Kimono Michi exhibitions every now and then. Justin has transitioned to being a family man, mostly making YouTube content. He will get commentary gigs and stuff like that, but he's also kind of notorious for taking paid placements to do all kinds of stuff, including, I guess, AI chatbots. I think there was a crypto coin in there somewhere. It's and the funny thing is because when I see this kind of conversation coming up and people are like, he's got to feed his kids, right? Justin's got to make sure Harper can go to college. They both have had full-time jobs. Daigo worked as a nursing assistant, I think it was, in a retirement home for a while. He wrote about it in his book. He took a break from fighting games to do that, and then started playing mahjong, and that's what kind of led his return to fighting games. Justin worked at Nvidia for multiple years. Ironically, I think Nvidia's in the Bay Area. I believe he was based in NorCal at the time, and when he was doing that, he was also not doing as well in competition. And I was like, that's how you know he's NorCal for right now, right? Because NorCal's biggest OS in fighting games is that we're too employed to be good at them.
I mean, it's a good OS to have.
I'm saying, man. But yeah, they both have employable skills. But I can understand not wanting to go back to an old job after you've been able to live this life. But what is the retirement plan here? And I guess I think the original formulation I had was if you were the agent or manager for a fighting game player who was kind of outside of after their peak, right? How are you getting them paid while also maintaining their brand value, their cachet?
I think that point perfectly illustrates the difference between these two images.
Sure.
Because for as bummy as Daigo appears most of the time, where he looks like he's half asleep or he's just got out of bed, but
he was drinking a lot for a while too.
Yeah, he wasn't looking super healthy but he's better now. But he's still competing. He still has all these brand deals. He still has shills, moments where he shills for Crocs. That might be just a personal thing. That might not be branded. But
I think he was trying to get that sponsorship, and I don't think he ever got it. But he loves his.
I salute. If he loves his Crocs, and
he turned me on to Crocs. I'm not gonna lie.
I think the difference here is that he has a manager. I don't think there's anyone next to Justin that's just there to smack him upside the head and is like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" Right? Or leading him in hey, this would probably be in line with what you want to push and what you've historically been known for. There's the gag image of Justin with the full Bud Light regalia. Yeah, right. He has the hat, he's got the glasses, he's got the fucking bottle in his hand. And that one, you're like, oh man, you got to get that paycheck, right?
Yeah.
you can still make that sort of argument. It's like, oh, he's got to have some sort of livelihood to him. This one just feels especially gross given the circumstances.
Sure.
Because, you're shilling this fucking generative AI bullshit. It's predatory. There's now countless studies and documentation of how it's actively harming people and leading to deaths or, severe mental illness where people have to get actual medical help to try to recover. And it's like, why this? You couldn't get literally any other product? There couldn't be a moment where you said, maybe not this one. You could have been shilling menthol cigarettes. And I would have been like, you know what? There's a warning on the box, right? Like, this still sucks. It's still kind of shitty, but man, somehow it would feel less gross. Meanwhile, you got Daigo over here, and he's just, he's pushing some fucking noodles at the bottom of the screen, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna hear him talk about some wisdom that he's gonna share. Maybe I want a really salty treat. That's not as bad.
Yeah. You will never be able to convince me that Daigo doesn't fuck with noodles. You know, like he clearly believed, and Croc's the same thing, right?
Yeah, look at that picture. He is going the fuck in, dog. Like, you don't lean forward and slurp like that unless you are about it.
But yeah, I do think that is what kind of feels missing, right? Is like the understanding that you as a person or you as a brand have value, right? And you can take on sponsorships, even potentially fucked up sponsorships. Like, when you mentioned the menthol shilling, I was like, there is unfortunately a street cred that you would get from shilling menthol cigarettes. That would be, whereas the AI chatbot is kind of just like a yikes, right? Gambling, crypto, to me, those are also firmly in the realm of just like, no one's gonna see this and go, oh, that makes sense. Well, at least in a good way, right? I'm excited for this. Your presence here, your vouch here means a lot. Which is, by the way, if anyone's listening to this and looking into sponsoring Unk Radio, one, thank you. Two, we try our best to make sure Unk Radio is as unsponsorable as possible. I say while drinking my Modelo, the unofficial official beer of Play Guilty Gear. It's pretty hard to think of things that would pay me to advertise for them that I would want to advertise. You know what I mean? Crocs doesn't need my eyeballs.
But think about all you could do for Crocs. This is what I want sponsors to think about when they look at these products and look at who could sponsor them, right? You look at the brand alignment. I don't see brand alignment between Justin Wong, noted guy that just really enjoys fighting games, legendary player. This is the type of dude that would be like, ooh, he said web swing, right? And you're like, that's the level of interaction he has. It's easy to watch his stuff because he's somehow insightful while also kind of being a dumbass.
Yeah.
And it's kind of charming. But then you get this sort of disconnect where I'm like, why are you pushing AI chatbots?
Right.
Do you use them? Like, you could be selling me a fucking Duplo set, and you would be like, yo, my kids fuck with these. And I'd be like, no, that's great. Yeah, you do want to push a product that you believe in or you personally use.
And in that case, you're also like establishing that you are a not awful parent.
Right. And I would be like,
where like pushing Roblox maybe not the best.
Yeah. And I would get it. You know what? Justin bought his kids a bunch of toys, and they're of these like creative variety. That's kind of cool. Yeah. He's a good dad. That would kind of align. I could see that there. But I'm like, why is there just a gigantic disconnect between like I'm having sex chats with fucking like Storm AIs that are pretending. One of the screenshots said like Storm parentheses of the X-Men or some shit, and I'm like, thanks, man. That really helped clear things up.
I need to see if there's Sonic in parentheses the Hedgehog.
The Hedgehog, not that one. Like Sonic the restaurant.
I would, if they had an In-N-Out Gajinka chatbot, I might throw that a couple AI tokens or whatever kind of currency they use.
No, see, this is where you have to get these companies to listen, man, because we have all these corny White Claw advertisements that are coming out, which they're fine, whatever. I would argue those are in better faith than some of this other crap because I've seen people get tore up at White Claw. We tried to get Sammy a White Claw sponsorship because he got us on the White Claws.
Okay.
There are pictures of us at, what was the Anime Ascension?
Okay, yep.
There's pictures of us with just a case of them shits at our feet, emptied out.
Y'all pulled up to WrestleMania with them. I was like, bro, we're at a burger. Come on.
Nah, man. We are about it, right? So that one is like, this is in line. It's like, we want to get twisted, but ever so casually and with a good flavor. That's the kind of vibe we bring. We're not going to be shilling fucking, AI anything or crypto
Yeah.
or like, hey guys, who's gonna win the next match on WrestleMania? Is it gonna be fucking TK Hennessy
Yo.
or like Mr. K? Bet on Kalshi.
Yeah, Kalshi WrestleMania. Okay.
Will Irene do IED Blitz this round?
You know, I actually think that the Taquito eye drops might have been one of the finer sponsorship moments in fighting game history, because you look at Taquito and you're like, he's a fucking nerd. I bet he uses eye drops all the time.
Oh, easy.
Looking ass stuff, you know?
He's using his eyes like crazy, and he's the kind of guy that would science out, hey, if this is like burning part of my retina off to heal it, that has to be like optimal.
The tape measurement moment told everything a sponsorship manager needs to know about who thinks this dude is cool and would buy the shit he sells. All right. I think we have our answer, and the retirement plan is whatever, man. You need a manager. Cool. We'll move on to the next one. It's danger time, baby.
Counter hit overhead. Do it all.
Uh-oh. All right, this is scary.
All right, we're only playing that initial part because we're going to see if this episode gets flagged by YouTube Content ID. But danger time, this is our ruthless content farming segment. Freestyle 2 Street Basketball famously featured a collaboration in Samurai Showdown. So we got to see this wonderful trailer of Nakaruru dunking on fools. This is one of my favorite things in fighting games, not really in fighting games.
Damn!
I go back and watch this a couple times a year. It's so good. Anyway, the prompt: put five fighting game characters in 5 different sports games, each with some kind of unique hook that calls back to their game of origin without hopelessly breaking the rules of the sport. So we need 5 characters in 5 games. I think the first question is, how much do we want to lean? Do we want the American sports team or rival schools, right? Because those are kind of gimmies, right?
But I think those are a little on the nose. Like they're obvious. I think those are just super competitors, right? Like they'd be just the upper echelon of that sport.
Yeah.
But what if you had something where it's like, oh, I picked Super Skrull, and he is now my pitcher.
Yep.
Because there's nothing in the rules that stop him from just stretching his arm out and catching any of these pop flies.
Or for that matter, do you have to throw a pitch? Like if the pitcher could reach from the mound to the plate without releasing the ball, is that still considered a pitch? I don't know if baseball is ready for this, man.
Yeah, like is there a set rule that says this much distance the ball has to travel before it's counted as a pitch, right?
Yeah.
Because he could just hand that bitch off into the glove.
Yep. Yeah.
And he could also just turn invisible. You're not going to see what he's fucking getting signaled.
You might be able to see the ball, though. And actually, here's the other question: is the batter allowed to hit the hand? Because that could make for a really interesting...
just smack the shit out of him. Well, here's the other thing. What's stopping him from making that bitch slightly toasty? And setting actually on some NBA fucking jam shit where the ball's actually on fire.
Throwing some literal heat. I like it.
Genuine heat.
Okay, I think Super Skrull in fucking... What is the go-to baseball game? I guess it doesn't have to be the go-to baseball game. We want to put him in like RBI Baseball 3 or something.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that, yeah. Or like Ken Griffey Jr. on the N64.
Alright, we're going to put him in as a pitcher. And his unique hook is stretchy. Do we want to give him the whole thing?
Oh, he's got the full power set. Yeah, he's got stretchy hands.
Okay, I'm into it. Do we want to put Brian Badler in a game that's not a football game?
Ooh. That's a good question. Because
he's got like the flying spinny hooks. Like that's Brian Badler the meme to me is more important than Brian Badler the actual KOF character.
If you went Brian Badler the meme and he has this potency of being able to just spin around at a high speed at any angle, you want him in a blitz game. He's just the guy that you pass the ball to him and he's already spinning towards the fucking end zone, right? Like he is gone.
All right, Brian Badler. Meme version with spins, and we're putting him in NFL Blitz. That feels fair. And actually, these, you know, like with the way dudes get spiked in that game, it's like I don't think there's like secret characters or anything in there. Is there? I think it's a midway game. They do all kinds of shit like that.
There's probably like a Bill Clinton somewhere. That was the style. At the time.
All right, meme version with spins. How about what if we get a little less literal with it? Do we want to put Ryu in something? Terry Bogard?
I was actually about to bring that up, and Terry Bogard, and just put him in NBA 2K.
Okay. And he's just playing basketball like a normal red-blooded Southtown citizen, yeah?
Right, but it's Terry
Bogard. Power dunk,
yeah, he's Terry Bogard, so he has his full set of powers, and he's just like statted out the ass, right? Like that's the LeBron James of fighting games.
Yeah.
He's old as fuck. He's incredibly good at basketball. That's lore accurate. But how are you gonna guard somebody that's just gonna fucking like power dunk on you, or burn knuckle across the court, or suddenly like rising tackle up to fucking dunk, and you're like, I don't know how to stop that shit, man. He's spinning in place at like 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, does if you rising tackle and it like defensively, would that get counted as goaltending? Is goaltending just with your hands? Can you goaltend with your legs or something? I guess we'd have to look this up.
I'd have to talk to some people, but I think if there aren't rules in the NBA right now for what he can do, we've seen him just explode the ground, right?
Yep.
So there's nothing stopping Terry from goaltending from like across court, so it's not any kind of positional idea, and he just power geysers the ball out of the way.
That's a good point, actually. Obviously, as far as I know, no NBA player has ever been strong enough to create like seismic disturbances that would interfere with someone's ability to shoot, right? But like, a Goro, like a Daimon ground pound or something, right? Like you're not touching them. Is that not allowed?
Yeah, hold on.
Can you ban that from basketball?
Can Adam Silver prove Goro Daimon was the one on the court? Honestly, I almost want to have Goro on the squad now. Could you imagine him rolling up, dribbling on you, and you have the Gator sound just running at you at full speed?
All right, we're swapping Terry out for Goro and putting him in NBA 2K. I'll put ground pound. Any other call-outs to Goro Daimon special moves?
Think about it. Just that 2C, he is just swatting shit the second it goes up to the rim.
I would love to see Goro with some moves too, but I think honestly watching Nakaruru just break motherfuckers' ankles with like that like grounded ball roll street ball shit is fantastic.
That should look great. Like the way she swatted that thing was awesome. Yep. I also appreciate that they had the slash and bust version.
Yep. When I saw that, I was like, this makes so much sense because there are few sports that give you the room to visually style on someone and disrespect them the way that basketball does. And to me, as a fighting game player, that is the thing that I appreciate the most about basketball. So when I saw Nakaruru dunking on fools, I was like, all right, this hits. I wonder, are there other sports where the kind of the visually palpable disrespect is or room for styling is so clear that it just works for fighting games.
You know what I was just thinking about right now?
What's that?
Akuma would be super broken in a bunch of games. And it would just be by virtue of having to teleport.
Yep.
Yeah.
Air fireball too, honestly. I mean, the things that make him broken in a fighting game also would make him pretty broken.
It's like he wouldn't even need the fireball part. He could just do like demon flip and get around shit, right? Where I'm just thinking like Akuma on a tennis court might be a problem.
I was wondering if you're going for tennis.
Yeah, because think about it. He's obviously able to move insanely fast and jump really high, and he has the potency to like destroy submarines with a single punch. So I'm just like, he's probably got a mean backswing, right? So like, you're not getting any balls away from him, and he is knocking them shits back with the power to create craters. So I think he'd be a problem.
Yeah, the killing intent. It's what was it? The inner game of tennis. You have
There's only one other player, and it was Rafael Nadal with the Satsui no Hado.
You know how Akuma and Wolverine kind of have that thing in X-Men versus Street Fighter, right? In the ending and stuff. I wonder if they would settle their differences at the X-Mansion tennis courts.
I'm telling you, dude, get Akuma on the court. It doesn't matter if it's grass or clay. He's tearing this shit up.
All right, we're putting Akuma teleports demon flip, and what do you think? Virtua Tennis for this one?
Yeah, we could do Virtua Tennis. Because the only other one's like, what is it? One of the EA games. It's like Tennis Grand Slam. I don't know what the modern ones are.
I was thinking
called.
like Mario Tennis or something.
Oh yeah, have them fight the Mario characters in tennis.
Okay, yeah, we're putting him in Mario Tennis. All right, one more. I feel like we need a golfer.
Ooh. This is like your realm of expertise. Like, what would you think are the necessary things to be like a really good golfer?
All right, so one, oh God, what's his name? The dude with hella swords in Samurai Showdown.
Yoshitora?
Yeah, Yoshitora. So I think that character is supposed to be a golfer, right? Because he keeps all his swords on him and he wears them like kind of slung on him, similar to how you would imagine. And he does have a golf bag, obviously. But the idea of like, oh, I have a different sword and each one's named after like a pretty girl or one of his exes or I forget what.
Yeah, they're all named after flowers, I think.
Oh, okay. I looked at that and I was like, oh, he's picking his iron for this one, or he's bringing out the 5 wood. Golf as a sport is like, there's the part that's this really interesting game that you play against the course, and you have to math out the angles and weigh that against your ability, what you can do consistently or inconsistently. You have to pay attention to the moisture and the air and the terrain that you're on. You have to pay attention to how many balls you got left if you suck and you lose a lot of balls like I do, and then you have to spend a lot of money buying new balls and shit. And then there's the part that's like mastering this one specific movement in millions of different circumstances. You have your golf swing, but sometimes the swing is going to be off a tee, and sometimes the swing is going to be, in deep grass or in not so deep grass or in sand or whatever. And so I really do like the kind of the idea of the samurai for golf. So my initial thinking was Yoshitora in a golf game would go hard, and you just give him his swords instead of the golf clubs. Like, put Yoshitora in Neo Turf Masters. Actually, that might be it for me.
That'd be the perfect fit.
Yeah. Irene does have some fantastic art of a couple Guilty Gear players in golf outfits and stuff. Golf fashion is fantastic. So you see, like, she's got, like, Potemkin, like, big old hat and stuff, Milia and Zato and Eddie all doing their thing in, like, golf duds and stuff. But, yeah, I think it's Yoshitora from Samurai Showdown. We put him in Neo Turf Masters. Swords instead of clubs, and we put him in Neo Turf.
I like how you got that backward.
Oh, what do you mean? As in he has swords instead of clubs, not whatever. Oh, would he be more interested? What I want to do is give him clubs in Samurai Showdown and give him swords in Neo Turf.
Oh, okay. You know what? Then I'm fuck with that vision.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if, like, with all the re-releases that SNK's doing, if they remade like a Turf Masters and there's just like an extra character that's
no, dude,
Yoshitora?
Yeah, so what we need, okay, fuck it, that might win me over it. I might be able to overlook journalist murdering if MBS gets Yoshitora Tokugawa added to Neo Turf Masters and swords instead of clubs, and we get, what's his name, Robert from Neo Turf? Hold on.
Oh, Robert was it?
Yeah, Landolt. Yeah, Robert Landolt. We get give me Yoshitora in Neo Turf and Robert Landolph in Samurai Showdown.
We already got Biken.
Right?
Yeah.
And when Robert wins, but he lost a round, or it was over a certain amount of time, his win post is oh no, and he's like bending his 5-iron or whatever. All right, I think we have our 5. So that is Super Skrull as a pitcher with a full power set, and Ken Griffey Jr. and 64. Brian Badler, the meme version with spins and NFL Blitz. Goro Diamond with the ground pound and 2C and NBA 2K. Akuma with the teleports and demon flip in Mario Tennis. And Yoshitora Tokugawa with swords instead of clubs for Neo Turf Masters. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Excellent job. We have so that'll cap off the time there. We are at 109.47. That is about a 20-minute improvement over our last time, which, it takes a while to properly tell the story of every single major fast food franchise, but good job. We have one more part in the show, and it is shout-outs. Who are we shouting out today?
That's an excellent question. Last time highlighted my boy Fox.
Yep.
For his excellent work and consistent efforts for Melty Blood and anime games. People told him, get your shit right for Exert if you're going to do the commentary, and he did it, right? He
did. He's our most prolific commentator right now.
Yeah, and he does it well. I want to highlight somebody else that does a lot of work that probably doesn't get the recognition because he just randomly gets hated from industry people for no reason.
Yeah.
What is his current name on Steam? I gotta get this right. Abu Nai, the Danger Arab. Our boy Sammy Fish. If you ever wanted somebody to care too much about commentary to the point where he's stressing and pulling his hair out when somebody just gets the most minuscule thing wrong, or he himself gets something wrong and he wants to blow his brains out, that's who you go to. That is an intense boy.
Yeah.
Get him for your game. He will learn it in and out, and you will love him for it.
I love Sammy. He's been the homie for a long time. It hurts me to see how much he cares about stuff when the meta in the world right now is simply not to care that much. I don't know if anyone could ever be harder on him than he is himself. It is also a level of care and attention to detail for the excellence in your own craft that you cannot buy with money. You know, you simply cannot pay for the level of concern that he applies to him. And for that, I think I would salute him as well. Shouts to Sammy. We've got our shout-outs. I think we're okay here to wrap Unk Radio Episode 2. Also, while I'm at it, shout-outs to Irene for the dope-ass logo. I think I'm just going to swap back to the beginning of this because we didn't have this. Hell yeah, look at this shit. Unk Radio, baby. Don't call it a podcast or we'll fuck you up. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.
GG.
Mwah.